So let's say that you put $20,000 down as a down payment. A lot of my customers put a lot more than that, and I like to show them this so that it actually helps them understand a couple of things. Okay, and this is saying that this is just for hypothetical purposes. Okay, um, and you could earn 7.5% on that down payment. Okay, in 10 years, had you not put that down payment down, what would it have done? So that down payment would have made you $22,241 in interest. Okay, had you not put it down. I'm going to give you a sec to read all this too so you can let it sink in. And you can watch this over and over again. That's the reason why I'm doing a video, because that way it's on your terms of your education process, okay? And everybody learns at different speeds. So now let's talk about is your house a good place to park your money? This is their down payment or putting extra principal payments into your house. Okay, so let's take a normal house, and I'm in the Seattle area, so I'm going to use an average house of around $250,000. Okay, and let's say that they owe the original purchase price was say $175,000. Let's say they've had this house for a few years, and they put about $25,000 in improvements, you know, windows and upgrading kitchens and doing all the fun stuff. Okay, and in 10 years. So if the person bought a house for $175,000, they put $25,000 in improvements, and it appreciated $250,000, your appreciation rate is only about 2.26% compounding. Okay, now inflation was roughly 4%, so it's not even outpacing inflation. Okay, but that's not really what I want to get into here. I want to get into appreciation versus equity. Okay, so let's take your current value, 250. Let's say you've paid it down to 100,000. Okay, appreciation rate was what, I think it was 2.26, if I remember right. And your inflation rate is 4%. So your current equity in the home is roughly $150,000. Okay, so $150,000 today would probably buy you in the Seattle area probably maybe a 2-bedroom, maybe a 3-bedroom, 1-bath, something like that. Here's the key: in 30 years, you're gonna have the same buying power as $46,000 today. Okay, so now you're gonna went from being able to own a 3-bedroom, 1-bath home roughly to not even having a studio condo. Okay, that's inflation killing your buying power. Now, in contrast, your house is going to appreciate to $488,780. Now, notice that changing the outstanding debt on your home, which changes your equity, has no effect on the projected market value of your home. Your house is going to appreciate to this, whether you had this money sitting in the house or you had it sitting somewhere else. Okay, let that sink in for yourself. And you have to, like I said, if you have to watch it over and over or back up and watch it, go ahead and do that for yourself. So I talked about if you actually had the money to put a lump sum down. So let's say you had the $175,000 to put as a lump sum and you paid the house off. Okay, or you decided to, and then you wanted to invest. And I'll give you an example. Let's say you made that same 7.5%. Okay. So you paid the house off. If you would have taken the $175,000 over 30 years and made 7.5% interest, it would have grown to $1.648 million. Okay. Now instead, if you would have financed the home and paid the monthly payment, or if you paid the cash and then started putting what you would have paid towards the monthly payment and put that in a savings plan, making that same 7.5%, it would have only grown to $377,000. That's huge when it comes to lump sums. So why choose a 15-year mortgage over a 30-year mortgage? What do you think the number one reason why people would do that? Okay? They think they're going to save money in interest. Okay? So the perception is the shorter the loan duration reduces the cost of a loan. Now, if you follow that concept, then you'd want to pay cash for the loan or for the home. But you saw in the last slide, that's not necessarily a wise decision, but let's go through it real quick. So let's take that $175,000 home. I'm going to use the loan rate of today. I think the loan rate's around 5% today. Okay? And I want you to take a concept between the person that pays their house off in 15 years, okay, pays 16, 22, 27 for 15 years, and their home's paid off in 15 years. And then they take this 16, 22, 27, and then they started saving that for their retirement. And that's kind of one of the biggest things I hear from people. Or what I would recommend to people would be to get the 30-year mortgage. Take the difference in savings, put that in their savings account. Every single month, put that 398.65 away. Did you realize that between this and this, if you followed, paid off in 15 years and put the money away, or you did this right here, there's no difference. There's absolutely no difference. But the difference is this person right here had accessibility to the money if he had hard times, lost his job or anything like that. Where this person, if this was their only savings vehicle, they're paying off their home and then they lost their job, they have to go to a bank and try to qualify to get their money back out. See, so they're not as safe. Okay. Now let's assume that you can make a side fund rate of return of say 7.5%. And the reason why I'm using 7.5% is because over the last 30 years, it hasn't done anything less than 7.5%. The strategies I help people implement for themselves. Okay. So now if you followed this concept versus this concept, and you made 7.5% on that side fund money, taking the difference and putting that in a savings account that's making 7.5%, or you did the 15-year thing where you paid off in 15 years and then took that money and put it away, that only goes to 458,223. Where if you follow this concept, because you have a longer time for the money to compound, it goes to 598,873. Okay, like I said, back this up if you need to, watch it several times if you need to, make sure you understand it.